What's up? Welcome to Sudoku 101, where I, your wonderful professor, Dr. Jacobs, will teach you how to solve right here this Sudoku. Alright, step one was just, covering up y'all mistakes. Alright, let's be honest. 7 cannot go here. 7 cannot go here. 7 has to be here. They both block this. There's 6 right here. 6 cannot go right here. On the other hand, these two sevens, they block off these two sevens, so the 7 has to go here. So that's my first step. I'm back, took a little break, filled in a few numbers. It's nice and easy stuff, okay? First thing that happened is I said, alright, take a look at these ones. There's a 1 here, there's a 1 here. That means 1 can only be here or here. But since only 7 can be here as well, these two squares are basically locked off. No other number can be here. No other number needs to be thought of to be here. Then I went down here and I'm like, all right, let's take a look at what else can be in this box. And I'm like, all right, there is a 3. Where can 3? Sorry, I lied. That's not my line of thinking. My line of thinking was different. I said, all right, only a 1 and a 7 can be here. So where can the 3 be in this row here? I was like, what's missing in this row, right? Instead of having 3, 5, 6 open spots, now we only have 4 open spots. That's more doable. So my line of thinking was like, all right, let's see, the 1, we determined it can be up here. The 2, it's a little annoying, it can be everywhere, so I'm not even going to put it in. So I'm like, all right, what about the 3? And I'm like, 3 cannot be there. 3 cannot be there. So that means 3 has to be here. And all of a sudden, that makes things interesting, because that means up here, the 3 has to be here. And what does that mean? That means that, dun, drum roll please. It means that a 3 can no longer be here, and on top of that, a 3 has to be down here. See how fast I am with these transitions? Let me add a little 3 in here, but make that bigger. Let's go like 30. That's pretty good. I'm going to center it a bit. Alright, I'll be back in another moment after I find out some more tricks. Alright, up next, just a few small things. First of all, I did what I think you guys already realized, that 8 has to go here. Obviously, 8 cannot be in these two squares, 8 cannot be in these two squares, so it has to be here. And that also means that 8 cannot be here, and because of this 8 cannot be here, so it has to be here. Other than that, I figured out with the 3 blocking this space, I can now determine that the 9 has to be here or here, which effectively blocks off the 9 from being in either of these two squares. And since for some reason I did not put a 9 down here, gotta figure out why I didn't do that. I think a 9 does deserve to be there if I had to guess. But I'll be right back after I figure out some more. Alright, welcome back. Isn't it crazy how no time passed for y'all, but for me, I'm out here thinking and shit, and guess what? Major development. Ding, ding, ding. That's right, you're about to get your first 2 on the board. So first, some minor things I did, which I think is only really one thing before I came to this idea of how to make the 2 appear, but 8 here, obviously, this 8 blocks here, this 8 blocks here, this 8 blocks here, so it has to be here. But then I was like, let's just start looking at some rows and some columns. And I'm like, yeah, none of these look super interesting. Couldn't find anything with them. And I looked at this one up here. Way up here. Only 3 numbers missing. And all I had written in was a 9 and a 9. So I was like, maybe there's something I can do here. And I'm like, alright, why can only a 9 be there or there? Well, first of all, we have this right here, right? The 9 is blocking off the square and this square. And as we said before, sorry, I have my mouse on the wrong monitor. The 9 is blocking off this square and this square. And the 9 cannot be here or here because these squares can only be a 1 or a 7. So then I went and I'm like, what other numbers do we need in this row? And I'm like, all right, we need a 2. That's not going to be enough. It can be anywhere. Then I'm like, all right, we need a 6. And I'm like, 6 can only be here or here. And then I was like, that means that, guess what? Only the 2 can be here. So that's how I got the 2. Now, continuing on with that line of thought, the 6 can only be here or here in this box, right? Because it has to be somewhere in this row. Down here, the 6 cannot be in the middle row either. It's all blocked off. That means in the bottom box, the 6 has to be in this middle box right here. It cannot possibly be here or here. So with that, I'm going to take this, control, copy, paste it, move it right up here, see if I can get it to cover all of the numbers. Might have to make it a little bit taller, and then cover that up with a 6. And from here on out, hopefully stuff will get a little bit easier. Alright, welcome back. Here's what's up, here's what's next. Alright, let's look up here, right? What's happening with this box? If we take a look, it needs a 1, 1 can go anywhere, but it also needs a 3. And right here is a 3 that's blocking the 3 from being here. So with that, we can say that the 3 has to be here or here. Look at that. Aren't those transitions smooth? But wait a second. What does that mean? 3 here or here. Either way, 3 can no longer be here. Which means the only place 3 can be is up here. And bam! We have a 3. That means the only number that can be left down here is yep, you guessed it, 2. So that means we got a full row, or a column, I mean. And I'm sure we can do much more with that too. I just haven't taken a look at it yet, so I'll be back in a moment. Alright, next up we can realize that 7 hits here, 7 hits here and here, so 7 also has to be in one of these 2 squares. So, bada bam, bada bing, let me get the 7s where they're supposed to be. Uh-oh, you saw my screen tear a bit. But there we go, 7 to 7. And now here's something interesting we can do. Oh, I also just realized the 7s are not supposed to be in this spot. They're supposed to be bottom left corner, but who cares? But basically, 7 in this square has to be in the 2 edges. 7 up here also has to be in the 2 edges. That means the only place that 7 can be in this top box is somewhere in this middle row, because there's going to be guaranteed 1 in this row and 1 in this row. So the 7 has to go right up here. Extra long weird pause. Alright, so the addition of this 1 7 right here means that 7 can no longer be right here, so the 7 has to be right here, and that also means that the 1 has to be right here, which means that the 1 has to be down here or down here in this square, just like bam, there. And that means the only place the 9 can be in this square, since the 1 and 3 have to occupy these 2 squares, is right here. That in turn means that in this square over here, the 9 can no longer be up there and there, so the 9 has to be down here. Now this means that down here, the 9 can only be, since these 2 9s are blocking off this square, this 9 is blocking off this square has to be a 3 or 7, so 9 can't be there. This means that, if I can get them, the 9s have to be over here. And that means that a 9 can no longer be here, and I'll be back with you guys in a second. Alright, up next we can see that the 1 right here is blocking off these 2 squares from having a 1, so those 2 have to have their 1s either be here or here, and effectively that means the 1 cannot be up here, so 1 has to be over here, and that means 3 has to be over here. Alright, so since the 1 and 8 can only be here and here, that means the A squares are blocked off. Now if we take a look at this row right here, this column, that needs a 9 and a 2. The 9 cannot be here or here because that's blocked off. So the 9 has to go right here, which means that the 2 has to go right here in this column. And that means that the 2 also has to go over here. And I'll be back with more in a sec. Alright, this is a big one. Hope I got it all down. It's a lot of numbers going to happen at once. So, first thing we can notice is, in fact, that there is a 9 up here now, which means 9 cannot be here, 9 cannot be here. There's a 9 right here as well. 9 cannot be here. It means 9 has to be there or there. So let's get the 9s coming in. Get them in just about the right spot they're supposed to be, maybe one further down. But that means, okay, what's the last number in this row? Since 4 and 9 have to occupy these squares, there's basically just one left. And it turns out that that number is, if I can get it, if it is 3. Now this 3 blocks off this 3 here, meaning this right here has to be a 3. Now that means that the last number remaining, that means that here this 2 blocks off this from being 2, which means that this or this has to be, guess what, 2 or 2. So, ooh, that's not going to be quite center, I don't like that. That's good enough. So that means that the 2 and 2 are here. That means it can basically prevent 2 from being here or here, which matters down here. And that means that this will be a 9, which in turn means this will be a 2. And then, oh, gotta move that one further right. Ooh, I do not like that. Which means that this up here has to be a 6, which means this up here has to be a 9, which means that this right here has to be a 6. Alright, I'll be back with you guys in a second. Alright, since there's a 1 right here and a 1 right here, the only place a 1 can be in this box is right there. So let's put a 1 over here. 1 over perhaps. Ooh. Right there seems good. Oop, I broke the screen again. 7 has to go here then. The last number in the column, which means 7 has to go here. And a 2 has to go down here. Alright, since, let's look at this again, and since there is a 1 here, a 1 here, and a 1 here, means the 1 has to go over here in this box, which means the 7 has to go here. And I'm going to center this box because, you know, it's going to drive me crazy. Since there's a 7 here, 7 can no longer be here, and that means that the 7 has to go here. 3 in turn has to go here, and that means that the 3 has to go right down here, the last 3, and with that, all the 3s on the board are gone. Alright, so just a quick little update. I just realized on the very last thing, I put the 3 in the wrong place. Obviously, it's supposed to be 1 over. There's a 3 right here. And I got so confused, I could not figure out where I did wrong. I put in every single number, but now I realize that the 3 was supposed to be over here instead, which hopefully will make things a lot more simple. So, oh my god, this whole thing's messed up now. Gotta bring this to the front. Maybe like 1 over 2. Alright, let's figure out the rest of this right now. I'm not even gonna cut off the camera because I believe in us to solve this puzzle right now, right here. Alright, 6 is here, 6 is here, here and here. So I'm gonna grab the 6 real quick and move it right down here. Alright, let's see, 4 and 9. The 4 cannot go here, so the 4 has to go down there. So, ooh, that's my first 4 in a while, it seems. Let me just grab this, put it here, and put in the 4. That means that this one has to be a 9. And turn the 9 has to go here, which means the 9 has to go here. And now let's look at the rest of this. Can only the 2 go here? The 4 cannot go here, and the 8 cannot go here. So the 2 has to go there. So let me grab a 2. All right. So what's next? Let's see. What should our next column be? The 6 can no longer be up here, so the 6 has to be over here. I'll center that a bit. Just can't falter now. 2 has to be over here, which means the 2 can still be, oh, it has to be down here. And that means that the 8, let's see if I can find an 8 right there, we go. 8 has to be over here. And that means 8 has to be over here. And 8 has to be over here. And then let's grab a 1. There's a 1. 1 has to be down here. Oop, moved it a little bit too far. Then let's grab another 1 because that 1 has to be right here. And then the final number will be, oh, let me first edit this a little bit so it looks a little bit better for all my fabulous viewers. There's so many numbers in there that are not supposed to be right there, but I'm pretty sure it's a 4. It cannot be a 2, cannot be an 8, so let's put the 4 down there. And with that, I should have prepared some confetti, but sadly I do not have any confetti, but I do have this epic transition to its closing scene, so without further ado, I will say thank you for watching. I have been your incredible professor today for Sudoku 101. I look forward to hopefully never having to do this again, because this took way more time than I thought it would. And then I got that mistake, which made me like rack my brain for a while. But yeah, without further ado, thanks for watching. If you even watched the whole thing, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like some of those parts you might have skipped through, especially the easier parts. But that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.